Welcome back. In this video, we're going to discuss children. No, not like little people. Um, Essentially, it's a way for you to pass components into other components. Okay. In a more natural way. And I've suddenly actually shown you how to do it, and you might not have even realized it, right? So let's go back and let's look at our counter component here that we wrote in our previous example. You're going to notice that inside of this component, we have this card component. And inside of that, we have a card body component. And this is an example of a child, right? So this is a parent component, and we're passing another component inside of it. And we're not using props, okay? And this is the idea of children, is that I can essentially wrap a parent component around a child component, okay? And really, at the end of the day, for example, this div here is a parent component, and this span here is a child of this div component. And this is not really difficult to write or anything like that. So let's just go ahead and create a new component here. We'll call it my child. I mean, technically, this should be called my parent, right? Okay, this will be a parent component, right? Okay, let's go to new file in index.tsx. Export, default, function, my parent, like so. Now, I want to return a value of some kind, and I want to return, we'll just make this like a basic div, right? Okay, so let's do something that's pretty basic here. Let's just say we want the text of whatever is placed inside of here to be red. So text, I'm going to search colors here in the Bootstrap doc. And there's a bunch of classes that we can use here. So let's just make our text red. We're going to have some text danger. So we need to apply the text danger class. Okay, so we can have our little my parent thing here, and we give it a class name of text danger, like so. Now, how do we pass another subcomponent into this? Well, what we're going to need to do here is interface props, just like we've made props on a previous component, right? And instead of defining, like, you could put children in here like this, and it would be like React element or something like that. But we can shorthand this by interface props extends props with children, like so. And you'll see that it imports props with children from React. Okay, so now these props already has a child prop inside of it, and we can access it like this. Okay, and then we just pass our children down like so, and Control-Alt-L to just reformat this. All right, it's really, really that simple. So let's go ahead here. And inside of our app here, we'll just get rid of our counter because we don't really need that anymore. And instead, we will put in my parent like so. And then we'll just put some text in here. This is some text. And when we look at this, the text should be red. So let's go take a look at it. And there it is. This is some text. And we can expect it. And we can see that it has this div class text danger on that. And the text that we passed in is wrapped between that. Now, in this case, we just put in text, but it could be literally anything. Let's say, okay, this is a good example. We can just pass in our first component that we made here. Like so. Control-Alt-L to reformat my code. And this is some text. I think we wrote the same thing for the first component as well. So let's just change this to, just to make sure that we can see. There we go. This is some text first. And that is how you use children. So children end up getting passed in this child prop. And so I mean, you can take this even farther. This is just like one component, but it kind of follows the same rules as we had for exporting a single component from, for example, this function as well. So if we just put another one in here like this, like so. Although it's a little different because it's less picky because it's already wrapped by this component here. We can just layer multiple components in here like this as well. And they will both show up like so. So instead of, for example, when we talked before, you don't have to do something like this where you wrap them in an empty tag, right? Because they're technically already wrapped in a tag. And what really matters is that whatever comes out of the return function is just a single function, which would be this as well. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know, and we will continue moving on. See you in the next one.